We must focus on Yahuwah's instructions. He said, of all marine animals, these are the ones you may use for food. You may eat anything from the water if it has both fins and scale, whether taken from salt water or from streams. But you must not, he said, you must never, he said, never, you must never eat animals from the sea or from rivers that do not have both fins and scale. That means anyone that does not have both fins and scale, like catfish. Catfish has fins, but it does not have scales. Catfish does not have fins, it does not have scales. Like many other fishes, they does not have scales, but I'm using catfish as a reference. You see? He said, but you must never eat any animal from the sea or from the river that does not have both fins. The boat must be complete, just like the boat of the animals, the split wolves and the shoe, the cord in the animal. This boat in the fishes must be complete also. Must have fins and scales. They are detestable to you. He said, but you must never eat animals from the sea or from the rivers that does not have both fins and scales. They are detestable to you. This applies to both a little creature that lives in the shallow water or to all creatures that lives in deep waters. You see, this applies to all kinds of living animals in the water. So do not say, oh, it's just for fish. No, it's for all. So you must follow up what Yahuwah tells you to do. Focus on this instruction. This scripture, you can read it on your own. YAHUAH, which they translate to Leviticus. You can read it on your own. Chapter 11, read from verse 1 to the end. It talks about what to take in and what not to take in. It's for your own good. You see, if you love yourself, you will not take things that will come into yourself and harm you. You will not take things that will harm you. Just like people today, they take different kinds of things. At the end of the day, they will fall sick and they will not start treating. Going from one doctor, taking one, they will go take a lab test, from this test to this test, destroying yourself. They will be taking blood from your body constantly, taking tests from one test to another. You see, because of what? Disobedience. You did not follow Yahuwah's instruction for the things you need to take in that will be of barakah to you. You see? Now let's see. I ask a question. Say, what are the risks of eating catfish? You see? What are the risks? That's the question I ask. What are the risks of eating catfish, which is the fish that does not have scale? He said it may lead to inflammatory bowel disease. So everything that Yahuwah told you to not take in, if you are disobedient to it, you are destroying yourself. He said it will lead to inflammatory bowel disease. He said mercury contamination. Catfish contains mercury lower than some fish. However, it can be harmful to children and pregnant women. Hence, it should be consumed in small portion. That do not consume it at all. They are just telling you this based on don't do this or do this. Don't take anything that does not have scale. Any fishes that does not have scale. Avoid it. Avoid it. You see, look at what even they are search. They are find out that what Yahuwah said concerning these foods are important. That is true, because Yahuwah he created them. When Yahuwah said don't eat any fish that does not have scale, in Nigeria today, I live in Nigeria here. In Nigeria today, the highest fish that they eat in Nigeria is catfish. That's what they consume. That's why you see people dying in very young age. They die every minute, every second. You don't know what is causing the ulcer in their body. Everyone, almost everybody treats ulcer here in Nigeria. Yes, it's because of disobedience to Yahuwah's instructions. Because of disobedience to Yahuwah's instruction. We're going to be looking at a very special servant of Yahuwah in the scriptures, Daniel, because he loved himself and he obeyed Yahuwah's commandments. When you love yourself, for you to love yourself is by obeying Yahuwah's instructions and his commandments, his regulations, and all that he has given to you. We're going to be seeing the account of Daniel when they want to force him to eat those things that Yahuwah said you should not consume. Daniel chapter 1, we're going to start from verse 3 to 16. He said, then the king ordered Ashpenaz, his high chief of staff, to bring to the palace some of the young men of Yahudah's royal family and other noble family who had been brought to Babylon as captives. Remember, when they are in captives, this is what happened in captives. You see? Verse 4. Select only strong, healthy, and good-looking young men. Now that's the instruction that the king gives to his chief of staff, to select healthy young men from the people that they brought from captives. He said, make sure they are well versed in every branch of learning, are gifted with knowledge also, and good judgment, and are suited to serve in the royal palace. Train these young men in the language and literature of Babylon. So they shows some young men among the ones that they captured from Yahudah. At the end of the day, the king assigned them a daily ration of food and wine from his own kitchen. They were to be trained for 3 years, and then they would enter the royal services. The royal service. Daniel, Ananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. You know, Daniel, every one of us know Daniel. Then Ananiah is the one they call Shadrach. Mishael is the one they call Meshach. And Azariah is the one they call Abednego. You see, we are 4 of the young men chosen, all from the tribe of Yahudah. So they now chose these men to come to serve the king in the palace. So they want to train them in all the ways of Babylon, both the language, the culture, and everything, both their food and everything. So the chief of staff, he said the chief of staff renamed them with these Babylonian names. Daniel was called Belshazzar, Ananiah was called Shadrach, Mishael was called Meshach, Azariah was called Abednego. But Daniel was determined not to defy himself, because Daniel loved himself so much. He was determined not to defy himself. He was determined not to defy himself because he loved himself. You must love yourself, my brothers and my sisters. You must love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you will bring harm to your own self. Unknowingly, you'll be putting harm to yourself constantly. Loving yourself is not just about putting on good clothes. No. It's about what you put into your body. If that thing is healthy for your body. A lot of people take substances that goes into their system and start destroying them gradually. You see, when you love yourself, you will not take in something that will go into your system and go be a destroyer to your body. You see, because Yahuwah has given us instructions to follow. You must do everything in the right way that Abba Yahuwah has given you to follow, to do. Do not destroy your life by just putting whatever you just see into your body, because at the end, you are the one that will pass through the pains. You are the one that will pass through the pains because you don't love yourself, and the pain will not start consuming you gradually. It's a gradual process. Before you look, you will not become someone that takes drugs every minute, every second. You will be swallowing drugs. You're swallowing drugs. They'll say, take this morning, take this afternoon, take this evening. Swallowing drugs. And when you are taking those drugs, they are going inside again to destroy your liver, the kidney, and your lungs unknowingly. So you must love yourself now. Now is the time. It's a must you love yourself from this very point of your life. Continuously. This is the time. To the Rabbi Yahuwah Sabaoth. Let's read on. He said, but Daniel was determined not to defy himself by eating the food and wine given to them by the king, he asked the chief of staff for permission not to eat this unacceptable food, because if he knows that YAHUAH has given him these instructions that don't eat these kinds of food, because to go in and destroy your body. So he take permission. I don't want to take these things that you are about to feed me with for these 3 years. Please give me these kinds of food. And he said, verse 9 say, now YAHUAH had given the chief of staff both respect and affection for Daniel. Because when you are following YAHUAH's instruction, YAHUAH will give you, the person that you will show you favor in the sight of all men. Say YAHUAH has given the chief of staff both respect and affection for Daniel. But he responded, I am afraid of the master, the king, who has ordered that you eat this food and wine. Say the king brought all the kinds of food that YAHUAH told them not to take into their body. So, but what Daniel said, please, is unacceptable for me to take this food in. That is what he said. He said, these foods are unacceptable. Say verse 10, he said, but he responded, the chief of staff now responded, but he responded, I am afraid of my master the king, who has ordered that you eat this food and wine. If you become pale and thin compared to the other youths your age, I am afraid the king will have me beheaded, because it will look like he did not follow the king's instruction. Then Daniel now suggested, then he said the attendant agreed to Daniel's suggestion. The Daniel now suggested to him that the attendant now agreed to Daniel's suggestion. You see, he now agreed to Daniel's suggestion. And at the end of the day, what the Daniel suggested to him is very unique, that he should bring just vegetable. Then the attendant now agreed to Daniel's suggestion and tested them for 10 days. At the end of the 10 days, he tested them with the vegetable and fruits that Daniel suggested that he should bring for them for 10 days. Then at the end of the 10 days, verse 15, he said, at the end of the 10 days, Daniel and his 3 friends looked healthier than the people that were eating the rubbish that they brought for them. In their mind, it is a very sweet food, very nice. At the end of the 10 days, Daniel looked healthier than them all. It pays to follow the instructions. It pays to follow the instructions of Abba YAHUAH. It pays. When you follow the instructions of Abba YAHUAH, you will see the result in your body. When you follow the instruction of Abba YAHUAH, that is pure love, loving yourself. That is what we call loving yourself. He said, at the end of the 10 days, verse 15, at the end of the 10 days, Daniel and his 3 friends looked healthier and better nourished than the young men who had been eating the food assigned by the king, who had been eating the rubbish food that YAHUAH said you should not put in your body. So after that, the attendants fed them only vegetables instead of the food and wine provided for the others. You see, you must learn how to say no. Learn how to say no. Daniel said no to the food that they brought to them. Learn it. It's important for your life. He said, no, I won't. Because I love myself. I will not take this thing inside my body to destroy myself. Just give me vegetables and fruits. Because that's the only thing you can get here. So I'm okay with that. You see? If you want to eat meat, eat the meat that have split wolves and chew the cord. Don't eat pig. Don't eat any meat that does not have split wood and does not chew the cord. That's what YAHUAH commanded you. When you want to eat fish, eat the fish that has scales and fins. It must have scales in the body and it has fins in the head part. It's important. The both must be complete. Do not destroy your life. Love yourself. Love yourself, my brothers and my sisters. Love yourself always. Love yourself continuously by doing the right things, by your obedience to Abba Yahuwah. Love yourself continuously.